Hello everyone and Happy New Year, Happy New Astrological Year. We have Spring Equinox today. It happens every year, of course, around the same time, around the 20th of March. Spring Equinox means that the Sun is entering the sign of Aries, so we have the Sun ingressing 0 degrees of Aries, and this is when Spring Equinox happens. But every year, except from the Sun entering Aries, we have a different configuration of planets. So it's worth having a look at the screenshot of the skies at the moment of the spring equinox to see the backdrop of what we can expect for the next 12 months. So every year the chart of the spring equinox is different. Planets land in different signs, different positions, of course, different aspects are created between them. So what is happening this year? This year, what I find quite unique is that the spring equinox is happening in between the two eclipses. The first one was on the 14th of March. It was a total lunar eclipse, and the next one we have 2 weeks later, 29th of March, which is solar eclipse. So the equinox is like bang on happening in between these eclipses, which only strengthens the changes that we may experience because of the eclipses. Okay, so we have eclipse, equinox, eclipse, definitely more emphasized energy of change and transformation, unpredictability, and the depth of whatever it is that we are experiencing. So this is the first thing, but also when we look at the chart of the moment, I would say that, with the Sun entering Aries, the fiery, warlike, but also very much independent and adventure-loving Aries, is the time for us to find a hero within yourself, okay? We are leaving the Pisces energy behind, we are entering Aries, it's time to move forward, be progressive. It's time to be a pioneer, to come up with new ideas, show some initiative, and just basically move forward. So it is about finding the hero within yourself. What I find very strongly coming up here is the theme of endings and beginnings being reflected in this backdrop for the next 12 months very strongly, because we have a very intense accumulation of planets at the end of Pisces and beginning of Aries this year. Okay, so we have Neptune, North Node, Saturn in Pisces towards the end of Pisces, and in Aries we have obviously 0 degrees of Aries, the Sun. But also Mercury and Venus both retrograding in Aries, and then we also have Chiron there. So because these two personal planets, Mercury and Venus, are retrograding at the time of the spring equinox, we can generally say that the next 12 months will be very much focused around reassessing, rethinking our approach to communication, mental energy, thinking, our views and ideas, Mercury, and what we value, what we love, Venus. Reassessment, reassessing, rethinking, very much like flashbacks from the past, things coming back to us or bumping into people from our past very much as well. So this theme of endings and beginnings, like literally, is really important because a few important planets towards the very end of Pisces, at the same time conjuncting a few important planets at the very beginning of Aries. So it's like the end of the zodiac and very beginning of the zodiac. This accumulation, intense accumulation of planets there symbolizes endings and beginnings. And then of course eclipse, total lunar eclipse a week before, symbolizing permanent changes, permanent endings, and solar eclipse a week later, representing permanent new beginnings, setting sail to some kind of new fresh start in life. So it's a very significant equinox, I would say, this year. Ruler of Aries is Mars, and we always have to look with these astrological events where rulers of certain signs are. So with Mars being the ruler of Aries at the moment being in Cancer, there is a very strong indication that over these next 12 months until equinox in 2026, security will be of paramount importance to us. Any kind of security, practical but also emotional security, wanting to feel safe, secure, grounded, very much like protecting our home, our family. It's emotional but also practical security and sense of safety. Mars is also out of bounds, which means that it's off this limit of 23 degrees from the ecliptic. Okay, so planet being out of bounds is a little bit more crazy, a little bit more rebellious in its expression. So Mars being out of bounds is very much strengthening this martial kind of energy, but also independent, rebellious, combative. We have also Mars. Well, it is out of bounds until 7th of April. So during the spring equinox on the 20th of March 2025, it is still out of bounds. But it's also at the time of equinox squaring a little planet called Aries, but also squaring Chiron. So this is very much energizing, revolutionary theme and combative theme, anything to do with rebellion, fighting for what we want, fighting for what we believe, let's say opposing certain energies and truly stepping into our own power. That's why I will emphasize that it is very much about finding the hero within yourself and finding the strength to go for what you want. But the square between Mars and Aries and Chiron will very much, as well as being out of bounds, will very much emphasize this theme of rebellion, revolution, a little bit like going against the stream, I would say. What else we've got happening here? The Sun, even though it's 0 degrees of Aries, is actually conjuncting Neptune in so-called anaretic degree of Pisces. Anaretic degree is 29th degree, it's the last degree of a sign. So Neptune has spent around 15 years in one sign. I'll make a separate video on Neptune actually entering the sign of Aries on the 30th of March for the next 15 years, around 14-15 years, but this is a separate subject. However, during the spring equinox, we have the Sun actually technically, from technical point of view, to a degree, conjuncting Neptune. Okay, so Neptune being in this anaretic degree of Pisces, going through whatever needs to be done, shedding this like last, shaking off the last kind of lessons of the sign it has been sailing through. So yes, Neptune, anaretic degree, Pisces, anything to do with water, flooding, heavy rains, floods, toxicity, oil spillage, pollution, water, seas, oceans, oil tankers, as we know, some incidents recently happening, heavy rains, but on a psychological level, it's very much to do with illusion, disillusion, faith, belief, what we believe in. It's about ideals, it's about media as well, very much. And also archetype of victimhood, but potentially some kind of charitable activity. So the Sun in 0 degrees of Aries is very much colored with this Neptune still in Pisces, okay? So we may very much feel, because Neptune in Pisces is also very much about spirituality, feeling detached from reality. It's about disillusion, dreams, fantasies, imagination. And we may feel, because the spring equinox this year is happening in between eclipses, and also the Sun is literally conjuncting Neptune, we may kind of feel suspended, like in between two worlds. Losing some kind of footing, feeling confused, having very vivid dreams, losing sense of reality sometimes. This is only creating a backdrop for the next 12 months, okay? But these themes will definitely be present. It is beautiful that the Sun conjuncting Neptune is also, they are both also conjuncting North Node, and this one gives this vibration of connecting back to the spirituality, to the higher dimension of love, unconditional love, anything to do with creativity, spiritual world. It's profoundly magical. It's about creating visions for the future. It's about dreaming, visualizing, fantasizing, a lot of imagination getting activated. So altogether, I think this spring equinox is potentially very different to the previous ones because of this strong conjunction with Neptune, but also being literally in between eclipses. And let's not forget, Mars and Venus are at the same time retrograding at the moment of the spring equinox. So I think that this backdrop that is being created for the next 12 months is very much about going back to the past, having some flashbacks from the past, and maybe trying to rethink, reassess, and change some things in our life regarding what we value and how we think, how we communicate. But I think one more important thing is obviously, let's not forget about the ruler of Aries, which is Mars, as I said, being out of bounds, emphasizing this a little bit rebellious, combative, crazy energy of wanting to fight for our practical and emotional security, but also not being afraid to actually, you know, go the extra mile and oppose the mainstream potentially, or just like have something to say and not being afraid to do that. So, all the best for the spring equinox today. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.